everybody, welcome to the Fired Up with CJ show. Today we have Dr. Arthur Ciarmamicoli, and we're talking about his book, The Triumph of Diversity. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we were talking about how you actually talk about different points of view, confront prejudice as it occurs in a way that brings people together in empathy versus not. And so I wanted to come up with a couple of different scenarios. You say in your book that, there's diversity training within corporations. Hopefully the stats that you have are changing now. But what the stats were saying is that those have little effect on men or white employees, and especially if it's not sustained over a period of time. And
Hmm.
so I had a group that I was working with of people of color. My group was a people of color group, and they were feeling frustrated because there were white older men that were leading this organization, and even though everyone had gone through the training, so they used example of a fundraiser that they were having, and I don't know, inadvertently or not, all the people of color were asked not to attend the fundraiser and to have dinner in the back room because there were not enough tables available so that all the rich white people could actually have dinner in this fundraiser. And this was right after their training, and they didn't even know what to do because everyone had had the training. It was like the day after the training, and they saw what they thought was completely abusive, um,
Hmm.
or and so how do they confront this to the people who are the people in power in this particular case?
Well, again, CJ, it's not remaining silent. It's starting by asking the questions. It's offensive. How come it happened? But not attacking. We have to pay very close attention to how we influence brain chemistry. If I attacked you, so I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that to us. Now I start getting angry, which is going to make your blood pressure go up.
Right.
When you do that, you produce the stress response. When you produce the stress response, you release cortisol. When you release cortisol, you take your empathic range from out here to in here. It produces repetitive, obsessive thinking. So now you can't think very clearly. So you don't want to produce the stress response in the other person because you're more likely to not get the truth if you do.
Hmm.
Now, I realize it's hard when you feel offended, but if you don't do that and you ask from a neutral position as much as you can, this was offensive to us. Why would we be sitting there, not with the white? You, can you explain that to us? Explain that to me.
Okay, so I'm going to pretend this is just going to be a funny thing because here you,
Okay.
but I'm going to be a older white man. Okay.
I want to see how you do this.
Well, Arthur, I'm really glad that you brought that up. It was because we literally just didn't have, completely misestimated the total number of people that we had seating for. More people actually responded to the RSVP, so we had fewer seats that were available to have dining in the main area.
Well, I'm sorry you had a seating problem, but then because of the seating problem, you divided people by black and white. How come?
It was not my intention to divide it by black and white. It was just fun people who were the fundraisers and the people who were people donating money were happened to be white. It wasn't a purposely divided event.
So let me see if I understand. So the people that sat up front were the people who gave the most money, and they happened to be.
Yes.
Is that
They're,
what you're saying?
yeah, they're based on our previous donors. We would like to actually have more people of color donating, but right now for the fundraising event, it was before we even had this diversity training, and most of the people were white people who were donating, older white people.
Okay, so I can understand that. Would you consider in the future to not offend or hurt or slight Black people, people of color, that even though it may be that more white people donated more money, that we still might have a heterogeneous group in that room so that no one is offended and that we have more cohesiveness among all of us who want to give to
Well,
this
how did it?
organization
I'm not sure why it offended you.
because Black people have been offended for 1,000 years by, sort of, I'm not saying this was SB did at the end, the back of the bus, but it felt like that. And all I'm asking is just to try to be sensitive to that.
I can be sensitive, Arthur, but like this has been around forever. I can't necessarily change who gives money.
So your only criterion is going to be the people who give the most money sit up front.
Well, it has been our current criteria, yeah, because we have to, the whole idea is to raise money.
Would you consider making it more heterogeneous, even if I give $100 and someone else gave 10,000?
That's a good point. Yes, I would.
Okay, that would be great. We would really appreciate that.
But know that it wasn't my intention. Like this is not my intention.
I understand that,
But like
but
I feel like you're blaming me.
I'm not blaming you. I understand that you based it on contribution only, but we've come to a decision that's going to be better for all parties. We will mix people in and make it more heterogeneous. That will keep people involved with wanting to give to this foundation and not slight anyone,
Is this
right?
going to, here's the only thing I'm worried about is like everything I am going to have to now do. It feels like every single time we're having these conversations over and over and over again. And I feel like I can never do right.
Well, you're using the word never. I don't remember ever bringing anything up like this with you before. So, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be an ongoing thing. And I'm actually impressed that you're open enough to reconsider the configuration of how we bring people together. So we'll work it out.
Okay, good. All right, that was great. I felt, well, of course, you're a psychotherapist who's a white man who's never experienced these traumas. And I've been on the recipient end of the other side.
I'll tell you, you played the white man very well. I think you've been
Really?
there.
I have been there. I have been there. So, I mean, in that particular case, I mean, in your case, the idea, what I heard from these women who are people of color were the desire to get retaliation, to like flip the situation so that they're on top, the lack of forgiveness, and the patience with the person not getting it right away were the things that I saw were the three things that were the hardest. Is that young people won't
Yes.
change right away. They get irritated and impatient with these, no offense, white men, white men in power, and they want to retaliate by like,
Yes.
don't you understand it? And so like the whole blame and judgment that you're talking about is definitely the approach. The approach that you took was completely different. I don't know how you can approach that from a being how you remain neutral because in all these cases there was a Native American woman, someone who is Hispanic, there was someone who is of Indian descent, and it was they were they were so enraged. So how to become neutral was very hard for them, especially since the training that they had received was all about how black people and people of color have been abused throughout time. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you understand, white guy? That
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the energy that I got. So what advice would you have for younger people who have been trained since grammar school to think in this different way? Let's actually do. I'd love to talk about that in the next segment if you could, because we're slightly
Sure.
over. So let's talk about how you can actually get to this place of calm and composure when you're feeling triggered, misunderstood, etc. Okay, we'll be right back. We've
Sure.
been talking to Dr. Arthur Ciarmamicoli about his book, The Triumph of Diversity. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show, and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.